What's up, guys? This is Devesh Boxing. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to hit the famous boxing bag like a professional boxer. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Devesh Patel. I am a former amateur boxer with over 30 fights. I used to represent Team Canada during the Olympic cycle of 2024. I was a part of the team for about a year. Now, today I'll be teaching you guys how to hit the famous boxing bag like a professional boxer. Now, first and foremost, I like to say that hitting the heavy bag is one of the most important parts in training in boxing when done correctly. Now, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the heavy bag. When they go in front of the bag and they're kind of just like, I'm just going to throw punches and kind of just wail and go nuts and just punch and just punch and just kind of go raging at it. If you want to hit the heavy bag properly and want to feel like a professional boxer, there's steps and there's a lot of facets and aspects to training with the heavy bag. Now, I like to do one thing very, very important before I even start training on the heavy bag, and that's giving myself a goal before each and every single one of my rounds that I'm training. So let's say, for example, I tell myself I'm going to do 4 rounds of heavy bag at the end of my workout. Each and every single one of those rounds, I'm going to give myself a goal. So my first round, I will be focusing on just throwing that jab and just throwing at certain targets, the head, the nose, the chin, the chest, the body. And I just kind of just focus on hitting the jab. Then my second round, I'm going to focus on landing body shots, like finishing my combos to the body. For example, a 1-2 liver shot down low, or where any other combinations that you guys like. Let's say like a hook, body shot with the right hand. Stuff like that. So I like to give myself goals before I even start hitting the heavy bag. That's the most important part, because if you don't go with a plan, you're not really working and doing things properly, okay? Now, another thing you want to do when you're in front of the heavy bag, okay? I like to give myself, after giving myself a goal, I like to give myself 3 steps to hitting the heavy bag properly, okay? Now, the first step here, okay, after you go in your boxing stance, okay, is establish the jab. Because in a fight, in a boxing fight, to win your rounds, one of the most important punches you want to establish immediately is the jab. Now, the reason why you want to establish the jab is because it establishes the pace of the fight and establishes who starts the combos first, and establishes who's the one that's going to be the most dominant in the round, who has control of the fight. And you got to emulate that when you're hitting the bag, because the way you train is the way you fight. So first and foremost, I'm in my boxing stance and I'm start throwing my jab, boom, to the head, to the body, to the chest, and I start moving around slowly but surely, right? So boom, and I start establishing my jab. Okay, now after establishing my jab and whatnot, what's important after, and this is the second step, it's to add some defense into my boxing, okay? Because if you're just doing offense, let's say we start establishing the jab, boom, and then we start adding the 1-2s, boom, then we start doing the 1-2-3, ba. All I did so far was offense, but that's not realistic to what's gonna happen in a real fight. In boxing, it's 50% offense and 50% defense. So you want to put that into your heavy bag practicing. So what I like to do is, after my combination, let's say my jabs and my 1-2s, okay? So I throw my 1-2s, boom, I roll after. Now, after I roll, I got new opportunities that creates itself. After a roll, boom, 2-3-2. Then after the 2-3-2, I add some blocks, boom. Then I'm moving around, I pivot, and I move. I keep creating scenarios for myself to make it realistic and create opportunities for myself. Because in boxing, that's what it is. Your defense creates opportunities for your offense to shine. So that's what I like to do when I'm hitting the heavy bag and stuff like that. I establish my jab. I start putting the 1-2s and the 1-2-3s together to start putting some swag into it all and start, actually boxing. But most importantly, I put some defense in the mix of it all. Because like I said, 50% offense, 50% defense. Now, the third step to this all, okay, is the movement. Now, a lot of people, when they hit in the bag, let's say start swinging, and they just kind of like stop the bag, and then they go back again. That's totally the opposite of what you want to do. You want to be moving with the bag, because boxing is punching, defense, and movement, the footwork. So what it is, let's say you start punching, right? Jab, jab, boom, boom, boom. You're hitting, boom, boom. You're doing your defense and whatnot. You start moving around. Then out of nowhere, it starts swinging, right? I move with the bag. I go back. I go forward. I go back. And every once in a while, I give myself a little pivot, take a little angle from here. Boom, do some head movement. Boom, I come here. I'll do my movement every once in a while. Now, one thing you want to do when the bag is swinging like that and whatnot is you can punch during the movement. Like in this example, I kind of move with the bag and didn't give any punches. But for example, let's say the bag starts swinging. You're moving back, you're moving forward, and as you're backing up, as you're going forward, you kind of going. Then you pivot. Then you create a new angle. Boom, 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 boom. You're moving here. New angles. And that's opportunities that create themselves because you made it happen. Now, that's how you hit the heavy bag in 3 easy steps right there, okay? Like a professional boxer. So your first step is going to be establishing the jab. Your second step is going to be adding in that defense, whether it's the slip, the roll, stuff like that. Kind of want to be off the center line, okay? Now, the center line is like, I don't know, boxing stance, boom, I'm off the center. Boom, I'm off the center. Boom, I'm kind of moving that way. And my third step is putting that movement together, okay? Backing up, going forward, taking them angles, kind of create opportunities for myself, okay? So it's a lot of imagination. It's a lot of like really creating stuff for yourself and making it fun and interactive for yourself. Because if you're just kind of hitting the heavy bag, just like, it's kind of just whatever. Like you're just doing cardio at this point. You're not really boxing, because that's the whole point in this sport. The sport is called boxing, so you want to box. So that's how you hit the heavy bag like a professional boxer. Now, if you enjoyed this video, okay, I highly advise checking out my website for more exclusive content and stuff like that. I'd highly recommend you guys to subscribe and like this video, share it to all your peeps and whatnot, okay? And I want to see some videos of you guys hitting the heavy bag. So that's me out.